Welcome, forest friends. It's time to enter the forest and see what we discover. Open your mind and wander with us for a bit. Welcome back, forest friends. Let's begin today somewhere quiet. Imagine standing in a forest you've known your whole life. The paths feel familiar. The trees lean the way you expect them to. You know where the light breaks through in the morning and where the shadows gather in the afternoon. This forest feels safe. It feels like understanding. Now imagine the forest slowly growing thicker. Not overnight, not dramatically, just a little more dense each season. New saplings crowd the paths. Underbrush fills the clearings. The trail you once used to explore now gently nudges you back toward the center. Nothing has gone wrong exactly, but something has changed. This episode is called When the Forest Grows Inward, because echo chambers do not feel like traps when we enter them. They feel like home. At the heart of this story is schema. Schema are not opinions. They are not facts. They are the living root systems beneath our thinking. As David Ausubel reminded us decades ago, the most important factor influencing learning is what the learner already knows. New information does not arrive in empty soil. It must attach itself to existing roots. If it cannot, it withers. That is not a flaw in human thinking. That is how meaning is possible at all. But here is the tension of the modern world. We live in an era where information arrives faster than schema can adapt. Digital systems deliver seeds constantly, but our cognitive forests can only absorb what fits the soil we already have. Over time, the forest begins to favor what grows easily. Familiar ideas flourish. Dissonant ones struggle for light. Echo chambers are not created by ignorance. They are created by efficiency. Psychological research describes several forces at work here. Motivated reasoning is the mind's tendency to favor conclusions that protect emotional equilibrium. Confirmation bias nudges attention toward information that agrees with what we already believe. Selective exposure allows us to curate environments where those agreements are constant. None of these mechanisms are malicious. They are protective. Inside an echo chamber, the mind is not trying to be wrong. It is trying to stay safe. The problem is that safety without diversity creates fragility. When schemas are repeatedly reinforced without challenge, they grow rigid. Their frills retract. They lose flexibility. What once helped us navigate complexity becomes a narrow corridor of certainty. Research during the COVID-19 pandemic revealed this starkly as different communities processed the same unfolding reality through entirely different schema about authority, science, freedom, and trust. The result was not just disagreement, but incompatible realities. This is what happens when the mycorrhizal networks between cognitive forests are severed. No nutrients flow, no corrective signals travel. Each grove grows louder, but not wiser. Digital platforms amplify this effect. Algorithms are not designed to make us wiser. They are designed to keep us engaged. And engagement thrives on familiarity. Content that feels similar but different activates processing fluency, creating a sense of rightness without requiring deep evaluation. This is why misinformation spreads so effectively when it borrows the language, tone, and structure of existing beliefs. It does not need to be true, it only needs to feel familiar enough to dock. Echo chambers, then, are not accidents of modern life. They are the predictable outcome of schema meeting an attention economy that rewards reinforcement over reflection. So what do we do with this knowledge? First, we stop treating disagreement as a failure of intelligence. When someone resists new information, it is rarely because they cannot understand it. It is because the information threatens a deeply rooted schema tied to identity, belonging, or emotional safety. Challenging a belief often feels like challenging the self. Second, we recognize that correction cannot happen at the canopy level alone. Fact-checking addresses surface content. Echo chambers live in the roots. Real change requires tending the soil. It requires connection before contradiction, safety before stretch. Educational research offers guidance here. Advanced organizers, analogies, metaphors, and concept mapping work not because they simplify ideas, but because they build bridges between the known and the new. They allow unfamiliar concepts to arrive as extensions rather than invasions. This is why learning thrives in what Derek Thompson calls the zone of similar but different, and what education recognizes as the zone of proximal development. Growth happens at the edge of familiarity, not in its absence. This has implications far beyond classrooms. Parents, leaders, and citizens all participate in shaping cognitive environments. Every conversation either widens a path or thickens the underbrush. Every media choice either introduces cross-pollination or reinforces monoculture. We are not passive occupants of our cognitive forests. We are active gardeners, whether we realize it or not. The most powerful antidote to echo chambers is not exposure to more information. It is exposure to relationships. When trust exists, schemas soften, frills reopen, new connections become possible. This is why persuasion fails in hostile environments and succeeds in caring ones. As we close today's walk, hold this gently. Echo chambers are not moral failures, they are ecological ones. They emerge when systems reward sameness over curiosity, certainty over humility, speed over reflection. In the next episode, Forest Friend, we will explore how deliberate disruption, what we might call cognitive pruning and controlled burns, can create space for healthier growth without destroying the forest itself. Until then, remember this. A healthy mind is not one without roots. It is one with roots deep enough to stay grounded and branches flexible enough to reach beyond the clearing it already knows. The forest grows best when it grows outward. Thanks for joining us on the Intellectual Hike, Forest Friends. Don't forget to visit us at www.alderbranch.org for more free resources and join our friends today. See you for another brain hiking adventure soon.